right, you guys let me know if you can see the screen tearing. Welcome back to the channel. I am taking apart my Samsung JS9500 because previously on the channel we went through and did a comparison of the 7-year-old JS9500, which was the then flagship Samsung TV. It retailed for $5,000. We compared it to the all-new 55-inch S95B from Samsung, and man, I was blown away. I do understand that the contrast was so high on the S95B that the images looked blown out in some places. But you know, after watching back on the content, I was able to see just how far things have come, and it's just an amazing thing because this new TV doesn't offer any blooming, and it offers those really solid deep blacks that aren't really crushed, but at the same time the colors just pop so well, and it does a really good job. In any event, now, because I'm shooting my content in chronological order, I'm going to be shifting. The next couple of videos are going to be focused strictly on me trying to get the maximum out of the S95B. So I've watched a few YouTubers. It was actually my first time doing so. Binge watched a couple of different people today, and I feel like I have an interesting concept as to how I want to test it. So I'm going to go through showing you guys my own personal settings, things that are going to look good to my eye. And also we're going to be doing this using a gaming PC. So no offense to any of the console guys, but I'm going to be putting my new RTX 3090 Ti to use. So stick around until the end of the video and I'll be able to let you guys know what we're going to be talking about on the next video. But for this one, we're going to get it going right after this intro. All right, welcome back to the channel. So listen, before we get into going over me doing the different shots of me playing different games and just kind of showing you the content of this amazing TV. This TV is amazing, man. I want to really dive into showing you guys another piece of what I do here on my channel. And I'm a PC gamer, an enthusiast to this hardware, just like I am to the hardware that's the TV sets that I've been reviewing and showcasing to you guys. So I actually did an in-depth series to talk about like what kind of things you should be considering if you're doing a PC build. This is one of several builds I've done this year, last year, the year before, and the track list just goes on and on and on, right? So all of the parts listed, I will do so in the description just so you guys can kind of see. But if you want to check out the video, I'll card it right there. You can pause this, take a look at it. Today we're going to be actually putting in the RTX 3090 Ti to replace the RTX 3090. I got a Founders Edition 3090 not too long ago and was able to get my hands on the Ti. I like to just get the best of the best if I can, and I like to play in 4K at the highest refresh rate, get the most frames that I can get. And so I'm thinking that this combination has got to work really well with this S95B. So I just want to let you know, we're not going to be limited today with any variable refresh rate being turned off with the PlayStation 5, or we're not going to be doing any checkerboard upscaling with the Xbox Series X. We're going to be playing raw gameplay in 4K, just getting max settings, the best of the best that I can get. All right, so just to give you a quick overview of the setup, this is going to be the test setup. Pay no mind to that being on carpet. Those risers on the bottom, got everything separated, okay? So we're good there. Just gotta dot I's and cross T's when you're talking to people on YouTube, because everybody's an expert, everybody wants to critique you. But man, this TV's physically beautiful. Nice 55-inch, gonna be sitting here. I do have that back plate put on partially. How's the cable management and such good there. Got a wireless keyboard mouse here, as well as my Xbox One controller. So got a wireless dongle connected to this. Now this computer has probably 50 terabytes inside of it. There's quite a few solid states and a ton of mechanical drives. So I've got like classics, PlayStation, my entire PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 catalogs on it, Sega Dreamcast, man, there's a lot of stuff on there and a ton of PC games. So within this video, please leave some comments. Let me know if there's something you want me to test, you know, because what I can do with this setup is I can produce more videos and make them short. So I'm going to use my tripod and I'm going to attempt to get this thing positioned right where we've got a nice sweet spot where I can get some great gameplay. So let me get this thing on the tripod and then we'll go ahead and take a look at some settings. Okay, and once we've got drivers updated, we now have all the settings we need to have. So let's go to more options, NVIDIA control panel. Now, previously, this was connected to two televisions, just like with the LG series TVs that do support the higher refresh rate and the resolution. The TV defaults at technically 30 hertz and television 4K. So there's two different resolution opportunities. It'll default here, right, by default. And what happens is you don't really have, on the LGs at least, you can't take advantage of the game optimizer and so forth. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you go down to the PC resolution. So they're going to be the same. The native is 3840 by 2160, and the rear down here for the PC side is going to be that. This will unlock 100 hertz or 120 hertz. I did show this in depth with my ultra wide video on the C2, the all new C2 OLED. I'll card that in right now, and there will be videos to test that functionality on this also. Now, one general question that does keep occurring: does this have G-Sync? This is not a G-Sync compatible display, okay? This is not. This is that is one of the things that, in my opinion, keeps me confident about LG's relationship with Nvidia. This is an Nvidia graphics card I have. AMD side will be FreeSync. I do realize everybody that plays or watches these TV videos will not be a PC enthusiast, so maybe you don't know that, but G-Sync essentially eliminates screen tearing, and on the LG it does a really good job, man. I think it starts at like the C2, I believe it starts at like 20 frames per second or 20 hertz, which is really low. With the type of graphics card I have, I'll never play a game that'll go that low, but understanding that some displays and some monitors that are G-Sync compatible may start at like 40 or 50 frames, right? And so if you're doing things like using ray tracing, your game could possibly dip if you are playing in 4K. So it's not present on this, which for a lot of people will be a deal breaker. So that's all we need to take a look at for the PC side of things with settings. All right, and coming on over to the actual TV settings. So we're going to settings. We do have game mode active, right? We're going to go to all settings, and I'm going to make this picture look a little bit better for myself, right? I'm sorry, before I even do that, let me actually get down to display settings and turn HDR on. We want to turn HDR on, okay? Bam, so we do have high dynamic range turned on within Windows. There's another settings you can go to also. Within this option, you can go to advanced display. You can learn more about the type of display that you have if you had two set up. And then you can actually go down to graphics. Within graphics, you can go to change default graphics settings. You can turn things on like hardware accelerated GPU, auto HDR. Now, VRR is not an option right here. It is 100% on the LG C2. So again, you know, when we talk about these TVs and we say what's the best gaming TV, and I continue to get asked why I would consider having the C2 as my definitive panel for gaming. It's things like this. So we're gonna research this together a little bit, but let's get back to the settings. I thought it was important to kind of cover that piece. Let's go over to all settings. If I haven't covered this before, when you go to connection, you go to game mode, this is where you can turn it on, off. It'll be default at auto. HD tone mapping, there's some opportunities there. And there is an explanation on the right as to which the settings would do. Basic mode provides the most accurate representation of the game's original creative content. Advanced does do some adding of some highlights and things of that sort. Right? That's all we really need to touch here. When we go back over to picture, we're going to go to expert settings, and this is where I like to kind of adjust things. So to be honest with you, the biggest thing I like to do, like the contrast enhancer, you can turn this thing on high. And I got to get up on this thing just to see what it looks like, man. Goodness. So we'll turn that to low, right? Another setting we'll go down to is peak brightness. You can turn this on high and it does, right? You can actually leave this on medium, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this TV just to put it on a warm setting, okay? All right, that setting is going to be in the color tone. So standard is the default, kind of like blue, right? Warm 1, warm 2. Let me get on the camera so that I can just see what this looks like. Yeah, it's going to add a more greenish tint to it. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys is that, and hopefully you're watching and you're actually listening, these are not my end result settings. This is my process as to how I find the best settings for me, okay? This is a new GPU. I'm going to attempt to run some games. And then from there, I'll modify these settings. As the panel warms up, I will do this. I've watched a lot of TV, use these TVs a lot. Check my LG video where I said I have 12,000 hours on the C9. Just take a look at that, right? I mean, it's a lot of utilization. And by this point, you guys know I've been buying these TVs for many years. So I'm not saying that I'm the most professional with it. There's certainly a lot of tech talk and terms that I don't understand. But one thing about it, I'm a realistic consumer. I got the bag to buy these things and I do damn sure use them, right? So again, these are not my definitive settings. This video is not intended for you to copy these settings, but this is pretty much an out of the box, adjusting the picture a little bit just so that I can actually sit and enjoy it. And as I do use it more, I will continue to just tinker and modify the settings. I encourage you to do the same thing, understanding that every panel is not going to be exactly the same. So the settings that you will see for your favorite YouTuber, myself being included, are not going to be exactly the way that you're going to see the TV, okay? So with that in mind, let me go scroll through my catalog of games so we can proceed to play in some games. All right, we don't want VSync, okay? We field of view is all the way up, it's 105. So we're gonna cap the frame rate at 120 frames per second. It's one of the joys of playing with the PC. Okay. All right. Quality, we're gonna set this thing at the highest possible quality we can have. This is what it is to have max settings. Resolution scaler. This thing goes all the way up. I'm not gonna try to go too crazy with it, but let's just go to 120. HDR is enabled. I'm gonna apply those changes. So now those changes have been applied. And this graphics card has 24 gigs of video RAM, 3700 is being utilized. Now that can go up and down. This game doesn't have ray tracing, so not too taxing. What I'm looking for is just a very nice, clear and crispy picture. And the motion is really smooth on this, I'm gonna tell you that. All right. I'm just looking for little screen tearing things. Once I get into the gameplay, we will see what's up. All right. I'll have to review the footage and see exactly how this turns out. This part at least. We're recording is being done at 30 frames, so the frame rate's not gonna matter for you guys, but for me, it does. No G-Sync on, I'm just moving around. This is butter smooth. Gosh, this looks so good.
Vanguard scouts report a group of hostiles threatens to destabilize the region. That area clear. Locate and neutralize them.
Very sensitive to screen tearing, so I haven't been able to detect a tear. However, right now I'm standing behind my camera. When I was doing the settings, I was sitting in front of my camera, and so. All right, let us dive into some of the settings. So on the remote, you hold the play and pause button, and it will bring up your game optimizer. I've got the input latency already set to fastest. Game mode, picture mode, I've got the preset of RTS. I've set that there. Aspect ratio, I like the fact that you can adjust this on the fly. Game settings essentially takes you back to game mode settings from the main menu. So we're not interested in that. Let's just see what this frame rate counter is looking like. More importantly, let me see if my PC I am not seeing an active frame rate counter. It's telling me my display is 120 Hertz. Right now, the game is running at about 80 frames, 96 frames, 95 frames. That can be seen at the top right of my screen. Right now, that can be seen. 98 frames, 108 frames, 105 frames. However, the game bar is not telling me that I am running at those frames. It's telling me what my display is doing, which is literally quite possibly a deal breaker for a lot of people. This may lead to some other content with me needing to test to see what it does on consoles and such, but we've done these tests on the LG. I've actually went as far as making a video, and I'll card that in, about LG not fixing that for consoles. But enough of Destiny, let's switch over to something else. So I'm messing around with some settings, and it's a little concerning as to why I don't see the variable refresh rate option within Windows. I don't see it there, and obviously the game mode, the game optimizer is telling me that it is turned off. And so we go back to settings. I tried to turn off a couple of settings just to see if it was maybe preventing that, but that doesn't look to be the case. So go back down to game mode settings. So the HD tone mapping, turn that back on basic. And then I do turn on this, warms things up a little bit. All right, that's the setting I'm running with right now that I'm liking. So yeah, doesn't appear to be any variable refresh rate on. There's not like an on setting with it. It's like your device has to do it. And so I don't know, Windows is not seeing this as an option, which it does on the C2. Even when I have both this and the C2 connected, it was seeing it on with the image being mirrored, but just not on right here. I'm not sure what that's about. I know there's not a lot of people that will plug up a PC to this thing, but so let's take a look at some of the options. We're gonna mess around with some Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This video is gonna be a little long. We got full screen, exclusive full screen, DirectX 12 and high dynamic range on. This guy was defaulted at 100. Deep learning super sample, I'm turning it off because what that does is essentially it dumbs it down to a lower native resolution. Like the real internal resolution is going to be lower. you know, I would rather play at max settings with the best of the best. Okay, refresh rate is 120 hertz. VSync is turned off. Again, if you turn VSync on, it will eliminate screen tearing completely. However, it does have a history of showing that there's extra input latency to it, which is why I like G-Sync. With G-Sync, you don't have to worry about either of the two. There's no added input latency and there's no screen tearing. Now, if you go down the rabbit hole of Reddit, you will see a whole bunch of things, you know, this, that versus the third. I mean, consoles historically pretty much more or less have VSync cut on, but playing on PC, it's like something you can do or not do. This panel is not 60 hertz, so I don't want to play on with VSync on. If I see screen tearing, then I'm kind of limited to, I have to do it because I don't see an option for variable refresh rate. So let me get this game started. And within this game, just gonna confirm that my settings are as I set them. HDR is on. All right, we're looking good. We're looking good. Let's go ahead and start this. I always play with the hardest difficulty. S95B RTX 3090 Ti. There's no blooming on this TV, so if my camera showed you that there looked to be some blooming with the white words, there's no blooming here, none, like absolutely none right here. Motion picture stuff. This looks amazing. I know this is not running at 120 frames.
Jonah, you there?
And Nvidia says I'm running this thing at 228 frames.
Jonah, I'm here. Just a little stuck. A rock hit my leg. No, I'm right on Trinity's tail.
This picture quality is masterful, man.
I won't be long.
99% lows on this that I'm getting right now are about 119 frames. This is max settings. Ray tracing on. Man, I hope you guys can see the details of this. This is amazing.
Shit. Maybe through there.
God, this is incredible. Oh my goodness. Oh, this looks so real. And it's almost like this game was made for this setup.
The site is full of traps.
Trinity's not done with it yet.
They're protecting something.
6 weeks, and still no solid leads on who's leading the local Trinity summer. But I talked to some people in town, and they're excited. There's a VIP coming to the Day of the Dead. Name's the weekend.
I'm seeing some screen tearing.
Into it.
Yeah. Yeah, my screen is tearing. Yeah, hell yeah, my screen is tearing like hell. All right, thank you. And if you guys want to support today's video, you can do so by hitting a like, right? You can do so by commenting, let me know what you think. I have to review the footage. I'm gonna play around with the settings some more, but this is really the start of me trying to really enjoy the TV. Everything up until this point has really been just about like the oohs and the ahs and the comparisons, but this is gonna be the start of a drawn out process of me breaking the TV in, if you will, using it as a gaming TV. Keeping in mind that the TV that was in this room, the C9 that I put into my bedroom from the other day's video, this is going to be for my kids. This is a TV where their PlayStation 5 and their Xbox Series X is going to be. But over the next couple of days, I'm going to have my gaming PC here. And so because I'm off the next 2 days, I'll be able to play a lot of games. I'm going to put a lot of hours onto this TV and I'm going to make more content. Now, I'm not in any way trying to swing you to go LG or to go Samsung, but what I will tell you is as of right now out of the box, my LG C2 OLED offers me optimal performance. This is exactly why I have it on my desk and why I will not be leaving my desk. I'm a PC gamer. I love PC. It's expensive, but if you pay, you know, you're gonna play really good. And so I like features like G-Sync. I like not having to worry about any of that stuff. Like if I don't have to turn any other setting on, I know that within my PC, I could just turn G-Sync on, make sure that it's active, and I'm gonna get optimal performance. And so that doesn't appear to be the case with this right now. I will do more tests. If you happen to have some experience with this, You can leave comments, let me know, give some suggestions, but just keep in mind, I've been doing this for a long time, so don't state any of the obvious stuff, especially when within the video I just showed you exactly all the settings, like down to me installing the graphics card to installing the drivers. Like I showed you guys literally everything there. So we're going to continue with this series the next couple of days. Be sure to hit the notification bell today if you're not subscribed, or if you are, so that you can get notified when I do post more videos on this, because more are going to be coming. It's going to be different games. Let me know what games you want to see. I got pretty much everything on the planet available on this particular rig. I want to keep it modern though, so no old school stuff. Let's just keep it to like the modern 16:9 aspect ratio games. And I got more content that's going to be coming for the C2. So, you know, I have not forget about the C2. We got more things to discuss. This is going to be concluding this video. I appreciate the support. As I always say, max love.